again. It's been so long since you've been here.
All right, thank you so much. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock right now, and it's a lovely day for me and for you, dear listener. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria at 6-4. This is lovely and this is wonderful. I truly want to say I celebrate you as a Nigerian. I celebrate you as a human being. I celebrate you as an individual, and I celebrate Nigerians, even Nigeria as a nation. Thank you so much. Once again, happy Independence Day. 1st October. This is Tuesday morning, and Ijiadamu is my name. You can call me Kubi if you like, and I'll be just fine. Thank you for being there. This is Unity Train on your radio, and it promises to be very, very interesting. This is because you are tuned to this. Don't forget, we are streaming live also on our Facebook platform at Unity Radio FM/TV Jos. And of course, this we cannot do without you. We have 3 segments to this program. It comes your way every weekday, Mondays to Fridays. Okay, we have the first segment from 8 to 8:30, a review segment where we used to have our in-house analysts, and we hear their opinions to issues as we have them trending on our national dailies. That's what it is. The second segment comes your way at 8:30 to 9 o'clock, and that'll be the time for discussion, topical. All right, so once we do that, at 9 to 9:30 is where our listener gets to join the conversations, and once that is done, we put it an end for every day. All right, so that is lovely, and today is no exception. So we'll be expecting to have a colleague, a senior colleague, award-winning journalist, Tom Garba of TG News, joining us today via the phone line, and we get to hear from him, his take, okay, his opinion. What is it that is so thrilling concerning Mr. President's speech today? That's what it is. And in the studio this morning, I have Professor Paveno H. Bamayi. He's seated and he's coming your way as usual with Morning Ginger. Good morning, Prof.
Could be happy Independence Day. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Suda Makan.
Suda.
Viewers and listeners, Suda Makan, good morning. Good afternoon and good evening if you're in other parts of the world that is not morning. Today is Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary. How far so far have we gone? Well, we'll have a lot to talk about later on the independence anniversary. But this beautiful morning, 1st October 2024, I want to remind you that even as the days are moving fast, so also is the time that is left for you to fulfill your goals, your objectives, your dreams for 2024 and beyond. Today marks the last quarter, the last 3 months of the year 2024. How far have you gone with your goals? 60% already? 70, 80, 90, 100%? Remember, your goals and objectives must be SMART. SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So how far have you gone with that book? Have you finished writing? Are you about to publish it? What about that building project? What about the farm you boasted about at the beginning of the year, that you were going to farm 5 hectares, 10 hectares? What about the business investment? What about the new trade, the new skill, the new certificate you wanted to acquire? What about the new trip you wanted to undertake? Remember, you said at the beginning of the year that this year you were going to get married. How far have you gone about it? How far have you gone with your aspirations, with your dreams, with your objectives? Remember, you're going to meet resistance on the way, but persistence breaks every resistance. Certainly there will be obstacles and hindrances. You feel like giving up. Winners don't quit. quitters don't win. Remember, you meet with failure along the way, but failure is the other side of the coin that is called success. The path to success and failure are the same. It just depends how you handle it. Failure is not fatal. Success is not final. It is the courage to continue that really counts. Remember that even as you pursue these goals and dreams and objectives, sometimes you will say the times are too tough. No, the difficulties are too many. Tough times don't last, my friend. It is tough people that do. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. So therefore, seize the opportunity of a lifetime during the lifetime of that opportunity. I encourage you, go out today, make a difference in your community, in Nigeria and in the world. And always remember to be the change that you want to see in the world.
All right, be the change that you want to see in the world. That's coming from Professor Pavana H. Bamayi. Of course, this morning I told you earlier that we are monitoring and hoping to receive Mr. Tom Garba. He's the publisher of TG News. He's joining us today. We would love to hear from him. What is the big deal about the speech of Mr. President? Is there anything that gives hope to Nigerians? And that's what we'll be looking forward to hear from him. But before he even calls, so that we can let him speak to Nigerians on this platform, Professor, of course, as usual, I know the second segment, you're going to be my biggest guest. So we have a topic for the second segment, but of course we can begin already at this very segment with you, even as Tom Garba gets to call later on. So I'm sure you must have listened to...
Oh yes, I've listened to the president's speech.
Yes, so...
His 64th independence speech. And I must confess that there was nothing to take to the bank from the speech. The president's address to Nigerians 64 has been the normal address speech that is given by presidents over the years. It is the same thing that we've been receiving in the last 24, 25 years and even beyond. The president commended himself, praised himself, celebrated himself for his economic policies, admonishing Nigerians to be patient, that those policies are already beginning to yield some rewards, yield some, rewards and making some difference. The president talked about the fight against insecurity, and he said they are winning the war against Boko Haram and the bandits and other kidnappers and criminal elements across the country. And he celebrated the fact, according to him, that over 300 terrorist commanders and fighters have been killed since he came into office. And of course, the president also talked about the National Youth Confab. There will be a National Youth Conference that will last for 1 month, during which youths will be selected from across the country, and they will gather and discuss the way forward for the country. And the president also talked about the National Merit Awards that is given, that is, to my mind, more political than real merit. He has already given the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Senate President National Merit Award and their deputies, and then that of other Nigerians will follow later. The President, of course, re-emphasized that we've come a long way, as a country since 1960 when we got independence. We've passed through a lot, but we're still standing, as one country, But all those normal talks, every president used to say that. And, the speech, the address given by Nigerian presidents, you can always predict it. In fact, to my mind, there is no need for them to even give any address. I can already know what they're going to say. It is the same trajectory, the same antecedent, the same way of talking, the same rhetoric. I would have expected that the president today will address Nigerians and say, I'm very sorry for all you are passing through. Because he acknowledged at the beginning of his speech that Nigerians are passing through a lot.
That's very
and
true.
He knows that Nigerians are suffering. But he gave no apology for the suffering of Nigerians. Why are Nigerians suffering? Subsidy is gone. Floating the naira. Increased electricity tariffs. In an oil-based economy, once there is no subsidy for oil, you know that every other thing is going to crumble. Because everything in Nigeria, unfortunately, depends on oil. And since we neglected agriculture, and we decided to focus on oil and oil and oil and oil, Nigeria has just been somersaulting and falling and falling and falling.
Okay, Prof. Prof, thank you so much. Before we let you continue, dear listener and viewer, we are being joined by our Mr. Tom Garba, a publisher and, of course, of TG News. He's joining us via the phone line, so we'll let him speak now. Good morning, Mr. Tom.
Good morning. Good morning, our listeners all over the world. Enjoy the services of Unity FM, where we've been privileged and fortunate to enjoy whatever you're doing from Jos to this axis and part of the country, northern Nigeria. Thank you very much for this time around.
All right, thank you so much.
Happy Independence to Nigerians.
Oh, happy independence to you too. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Tom Garba, you'll be telling us, of course, being a journalist, an active one for that matter, I'm sure you must have listened to Mr. President's speech. So let's hear from you. What is that, take home that you would love to share with Nigerians on this platform?
Yeah, I want to commend Mr. President on his speech. I consider it a timely one for this matter. And the fact that the country is going over and over the same issue of economic backlashes, downfall of the country's issues that has to do with the well-being of all Nigerians.
Yes.
But the take-home for me as a journalist is just a repetition of what he has been saying, or the government of APC has been saying. Okay. That giving Nigerian confidence that we are on top of the situation, and our government is doing all that they are doing to make sure that Nigeria is better and the economy is improved. My own view and my own perception of the whole statement is just what I can tell Nigeria, that a repetition of what he says. Trust me, we are on top of the issue. We are assuring Nigeria, like assurance to Nigeria, that very soon, all what Nigeria have been thinking or have been considering a kind of a problem, the aspect of the economy, particularly in the angle of the oil and gas, the insecurity, and what Nigerians today will walk home and tell you that the government is not just doing what it ought to be, or the promises that told Nigerians 1 year ago is not visible around. So I think it's a message to Nigerians. And by and large, we want to look at it in so many perspectives, in so many angles. Yes. Some modern Nigerians, all the comments have started coming in that they are not really ready to take Nigerians' issues and problems away. The government seems lagging, the government seems slow, the government seems not ready to handle the issue of insecurity, the issue of economy, and concerning the that we considered our lifeline, the oil and gas sector.
All right.
Not really giving Nigeria what we want. So I think it's a call to the government and Nigerians. If one would say give the government more a little time, they will actually question. We gave them 1 year and some months, and what are we seeing? And so my call to the government of Mr. President is Nigeria are truly complaining. Nigeria are truly asking questions. When is this your assurance going to be real? When is this assurance going to be impactful? When is this your government that you say is in top of the situation going to be real to every Nigerian that is complaining of one issue or the other?
Yes.
So it's basically the burning issue to everyone that is called Nigeria. If you consider insecurity, for example.
Yes.
In 64 years of our existence, we had a bad insecurity situation as we're facing it. You understand? So
yes.
If you even analyze the context of our civil war, in the 60s, the civil war was not as bad as it is because the civil war lasted for only 3 years and some few months. But banditry alone, from Goodluck Jonathan to date, if you take away Boko Haram alone, it lasted for more than 10 years. If you look at banditry alone,
yes,
from Buhari to this day, it's almost 7 to 6 years, 6 to 7 years. So it's really been easy to Nigerians. There are some areas in this country, it is a no-go area. There are some states in this country where you, by the mention of those states, one will just look at you that maybe you know, okay, if you say that state is safe for you to visit.
Yes.
Zamfara, part of Katsina, part of Maiduguri, part of Jigawa, you go down to Sokoto,
yes,
you go down to Kaduna, you go to even the state, the federal capital. There are some places you dare not go. In Abuja today, I want to tell you, last week I was there, I saw how people are arresting people for the sake of that they want to malhandle them to collect or forcibly collect funds or their value. I've seen people in the boat, today boat like attacking people to collect things from them.
Yes.
In the heart of Abuja. So if you mention the name Kuje area, you go to all these areas that are a little bit far away from the capital.
Yes.
City.
Yes.
You cannot go. So where are we going to? And where are we heading to?
All right.
Is it that the country or the leadership are not really willing to stampede all this nonsense I can say? Is it that the leadership are eating fat of the whole thing? Or there are some matters of insecurity that are really getting it well and they don't care who lives and who does not live? So, see, it is a whole lot of things. So our 64 years of journey of nationhood
yes,
of security,
yes,
it is a whole lot of issues.
okay,
Our 64 years of independence, if it take us economy, it's a whole lot of issues. Our 64 years of nationhood, if you talk of the sector of education,
yes,
from 1960 to date, it is a whole lot of issues and questions to raise for me.
all right,
You go to agricultural country, what are we actually celebrating, or what are we actually to call to say that yes, Nigeria have grown 64 years, it's an adult. In fact, it's a grandfather.
okay, okay, Mr. Tom.
Yes.
Yes, before we let you go, maybe in just 1 or 2 minutes, let's have what is your take regarding what Nigerians were expecting to hear Mr. President say today?
A lot of Nigerians today, they expected to hear Mr. President saying the price of petroleum is so amount.
Okay, okay,
Then we were expecting to hear a definite price of petroleum, especially now that the Dangote refinery is ready to start shipping petroleum products from part of the country.
okay,
have reduced the price of the pump price.
Okay.
Because it is just the nucleus of the economy of the country.
All right.
And then we are expecting Mr. President to announce today that we are making sure that food will be available in so months.
Mm.
And the prices of commodities, essential commodities, will go down.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tom Garba of TG News, for joining us and for also lending your voice, giving us your angle and take. So what will be your final word as we go now?
My word to Nigeria is that let's still believe in this country.
Oh, lovely.
We still have a hope.
All right. Thank you.
Nigeria will be better again.
Amen. Thank you. Well, you've heard it all from Tom Garba, and you've heard his own angle of thoughts and what he would have, rather have Mr. President say. And so, before we go on this commercial break, on what Mr. Tom Garba said, the Prof.
Nigerians are highly optimistic people. You can see that Mr. Tom Garba ended with optimism.
Yes.
You know, we are incurable optimists in the greatness of Nigeria. Nigeria has every potential to be great. Every potential to be the best country in Africa and one of the best in the world. Intellectually, we are endowed. You talk about geniuses, we have them. You talk about the best people with skills, we have. Mineral resources, we have them. Arable land, over 60% of our land in Nigeria is arable. Although, unlike in some countries, you cannot even grow crops. Nigeria, plant anywhere in front of your house,
and then
the crops will grow.
It all.
We have everything we need in this country. We have water. We have rain, fantastic. We have sunshine that some countries don't have. My friend stays in Norway. He told me that sometimes the sun will not rise. For days, they will not even see the sun. Everywhere will be dark. They will go out inside darkness, return back inside darkness. But here we have plenty of sun that we can tap, use solar power. Nigeria is blessed with diversity. Nigeria is blessed with natural sceneries, springs and streams and mountains and hills and animals and beautiful places and wonderful, beautiful, people with the, like in the president's words, can-do spirit of the Nigerian, can-do. Nigerians will rarely tell you that I cannot do it, this is impossible. Nigerians always believe that it can be done.
Yes.
And that's a good spirit. But, unfortunately, this lack of leadership has bedeviled this country over the years. Because it is leaders that will take you to the promised land. As the leaders go, so do the followers. And leaders should never blame the followers. If you begin to blame the followers, it means you are not a leader. Because a leader is supposed to show the followers the path to follow. And then they just follow naturally.
Examples.
So it is wonderful that Nigerians still believe that this nation can be great. And indeed, I believe that this nation can be great. But that greatness will not manifest until we take action. And indeed, drastic action. Drastic action must be taken by our leaders to ensure that we set Nigeria on the right path to progress. That's why you see some of us are highly disappointed with the president's speech. What can you take to the bank from what the president has said today? Did he say, from today, I have restored subsidy? Did he say, from today, all those high electricity tariffs, I have removed them? Nigerians can enjoy electricity. Did he say, I will stop floating the naira? What can you take from him? What can you take to the bank from the president's speech? It is just a normal speech. Those who listen to the speech And those who did not listen are the same. They did not lose anything.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Pavena Hetibamayi. When we come back after this commercial break, I would love to hear from you. What would you take to the bank from Mr. President's Nigerian 64th Independence Day speech? Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. It concerns you. It a kill love, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Unity. Unity TV.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was saying things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again.
Thank you. I'm so glad to say welcome back. This is Unity Train on Unity 93.3 FM. Today is Tuesday and the first day in the month of October. And to you, dear listener and viewer, happy Independence Day to you. And this is the second segment of Unity Train on your radio this morning. Ijia the Monument's my name. In the studio, it has been Professor Proveno H. and of course my humble self. Earlier on the first segment, we were being joined by Mr. Tom Garba, who gave us his take concerning Mr. President's speech today. All right, now it's time for us to continue. We have a topic with which I would love that you listen, because time is coming that you also will get to join the conversation. The topic for discussion this morning is Nigeria at 64. How far? So far. I think I just love the topic. It gives you the room to travel all the way back and also to and fro and see how possible the future is going to be like. So, Nigeria at 64, how far, so far. And I have a guest in the studio. He's no one else than Professor Proveno H. Baumaye, Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, University of Jos, an erudite public and current affairs analyst. In fact, my very own shock absorber in the studio. So, Prof, sir, it's good to have you even on this segment and on this topic. You are the right man for this. I must confess. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right, so where do we begin? I don't have fears whenever it is you as regards to where to begin the conversation. So I just leave it with you.
So we can begin anywhere.
All right.
Could be.
So,
at 64 years, is a man still a child?
Not at all.
At 64 years. 64 years is older than you and me.
Mm-hmm.
There is hardly anybody in our studio right now, including the engineers. Nobody is up to 64. At 64 years, you have already retired if you're a civil servant. Civil servants in this country retire at 60. So at 64, you're already 4 years into retirement. Even in the military. So whichever one comes first, 60 years or 35 years in service. It is currently only professors and judges that are allowed to reach 70 before retirement. But can we say truly that at 64 Nigeria has attained the height, the level of maturity that Nigeria is supposed to attain?
Considering its endowment.
with all the mineral resources at our disposal, with over 350 different ethnic groups and nationalities, 36 states in a federal capital territory, 6 geopolitical zones. At 64,
yes,
can we say Nigeria has come of age? Can we say Nigeria is truly independent? As far as I'm concerned, could be. Viewers and listeners, Nigeria is only independent by name. The only thing independent about Nigeria is the name, that it is an independent country. Ask me why.
Of course.
We're still importing even the food that we eat. We're still taking crude oil outside the country to refine it and then bring it back.
At 64.
At 64, if not that Dangote now is trying to help us to stop that. At 64, we're importing even toothpick. Toothpick we're importing from Malaysia, China, Indonesia, other places. Toothpick. We're still importing peanuts. Peanuts from Ghana, other African countries. Peanuts. With all the arable land that we have that we can produce and export. Common simple things like chocolates and sweets, we're still importing them from outside the country. Even fruit juices, we're still importing them from outside the country. Even from nations like Cameroon. There is a fantastic fruit juice I love taking, is from Cameroon. They call it a Gino. We're still importing these things. At 64, there is no single Nigerian university on earth that is among the 10 best in Africa. That is among the first 20 in the world, the first 50 in the world, even the first 100 in the world. At 64, we're still talking about potholes on our roads. Our roads have become death traps to the citizens of this country. At 64, we are still producing a meager 5,000 to 6,000 megawatts of electricity. At the age of 64. At the age of 64, Nigerians are still buying second-hand cars, third-hand cars, fourth-hand cars, cars that have been abandoned in Europe and America and other parts of the world. They bring it to us here, we buy it, we call it, it's a new car. We even take it to church for dedication that I've bought a new car. And somebody has used that car for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and then we consider it new. At 64. At 64, Nigeria is still a low-income country. At 64, we're still battling the menace of insecurity. Nigerians cannot sleep with their 2 eyes closed. At 64, we still have extremely, terribly bad infrastructure. Our hospitals are decaying. I entered the hospital. Recently I said, this your hospital is even sick.
The hospital.
And you are treating sick patients in a sick hospital. The building is sick. See, the ceilings are dropping down. The zinc is rusted, leaking in different parts. At 64, hospitals in this country are decaying. They don't have basic equipment to compete with their peers around the world. At 64, our educational system is still moribund and comatose. There is still extremely poor funding for education. Our university lecturers are some of the worst paid in the world, the lowest on earth. They cannot even face, peers in West Africa. Nigeria cannot even pay the average salary of lecturers in West Africa to Nigerian lecturers. Universities, polytechnics, colleges of education. Secondary schools, even forget about them, it's peanuts they receive. At 64, we're still struggling to find our footing as a nation. At 64, we're still a highly indebted country, going cap in hand, begging for money, begging for help from other nations of the world. Our vice president that represented the president went for the UN General Assembly to beg for debt relief, to beg that our different borrow loans that we've collected over the years should be forgiven. Again. At 64, forgiven again. After they forgive us under our passenger, he's still going there to say, please forgive us. Write off all those loans that we collected and all that. Who is going to take you serious? At 64, we still don't have a clear vision as a country. Tell me, what is the vision of Nigeria now? What is the vision of our president? As the average Nigerian, what is the vision of Nigeria? We don't even have a vision. That this is the vision we're pursuing as a country.
As a country.
We don't even have one.
Not as a political party.
Look at
yes.
Our president's speech. No timelines attached. You're going to deal with insecurity. How long? Is it in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? What are you going to do? You're going to fix the economy. Tell us, is it within 1 year? Give us a timeline. Let's see whether we can hold you by your words. If you just say you will just do your best, you will do something about it, there is nothing to hold on to what you're saying. At 64, our leaders have bastardized our economy. At 64, Nigeria is still a nation full of ethnic bigotry and religious bigotry. The average Nigerian is a bigot, big time, at 64. We still look at ourselves as HAUSA, as Fulani, as Igbo, as Yoruba, and it reflects in every sector. You want to give admission, university, polytechnic colleges in Nigeria, we're going to look at whether it's an Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa, whether it's from a catchment area, whether it's from so-so state, whether it's from this one, from that one. We have all those primordial, primitive, stone age mentality and way of doing things as a nation. At 64. At 64, the average Nigerian doesn't even feel that he owes allegiance to Nigeria. He's first his religion and ethnic group before he thinks about Nigeria. At 64, Nigeria is still battling to find a direction, a way to go, unfortunately. Now, how far so far have we gone as a nation at 64? Let's just look at some of the age mates of Nigeria. We got independence 1st October 1960. Look at the nations that got independence within that time period from 1955 to 1960, 62 up to 65. Look at those nations. You talk about nations like Malaysia. You talk about nations like Indonesia. You talk about nations like Ghana here in Africa. You talk about, you know, all those small nations across the globe that are supposed to be peers of Nigeria, and even younger than Nigeria. Singapore got independence in 1965. Look at those nations. Compare them with Nigeria. In fact, nations like South Africa only got independence, you know, as we entered the 90s. Now look at those nations. Compare them with Nigeria. Can you truly say today that Nigeria is a leader among her age mates, among her peers? Can you truly say today that Nigeria has advanced more than those nations like South Korea and the rest of them? Can you truly say that Nigeria is better today than Malaysia? Nigeria that claims to be the giant of Africa, the giant in the sun. Nigeria, the great nation. Nigeria, the most populous nation in Africa. Let's Take an example of Singapore. Within 30 years, Singapore became a developed country, a high-income country. At 64, Nigeria is still a low-income country. In fact, a country that the income is so low that more than half of Nigerians are living in multi-dimensional poverty. About 133 million Nigerians by statistics that were just given yesterday. About 133 million Nigerians are living in what is called multi-dimensional poverty. The average Nigerian is a poor man. The average Nigerian cannot afford to feed themselves 3 square meals a day. The average Nigerian doesn't have enough money, so he doesn't think about going to Obudu cattle ranch for a holiday, or to the Mambila Plateau, or go to Hawaii for holiday, or go to other parts of the world and just relax and enjoy. How many Nigerians do you know could be that are flying out of the country to go and have a vacation? They can't afford it because we are a low-income country. In fact, more than half of Nigeria's population, in fact, I dare say 70% of Nigeria's population have never entered an aeroplane. You don't need to go far. Just go outside this studio and begin to ask, have you ever entered an aeroplane? Have you ever entered an aeroplane? Have you ever entered an aeroplane? 70% of Nigerians have never traveled by air. That is to tell you how extremely poor Nigerians are. While in some other parts of the world, traveling by air is everybody's business. They don't even need to think about it. They just wake up, enter a plane and fly, enter a train and go to one place. They have vehicles and cars. They move about. It is nothing. Here in Nigeria, if you have a flashy car, people begin to look at you and say, wow, you're a big man. People, in fact, even identify you by your car. That is to tell you how extremely primitively poor Nigerians are. In nations that have advanced, nobody cares the car you're using. Nobody will look at the car. In fact, they don't even know which car you came with. Nobody cares about it. Here in this country, if you're riding a big car, you go, they will open the gate for you. In fact, the policemen on the road, they will not stop you. But if you're carrying a caricature car, that is emitting a lot of smoke through his exhaust pipe and making a lot of noise, they will stop you. And if you go and there is an occasion you're parking, they look at your car. Your car is a kunkuru, it's a beetle. They will say, come and park here inside the bush. The man with the big car, they will give him fantastic parking space. At 64. That is to tell you that the poverty mentality of the average Nigerian has affected the psyche of the average Nigerian, that he doesn't even think correctly. Too much poverty. Too much poverty in the country. So a country that is suffering from multi-dimensional poverty, but yet the president of the country is riding inside a presidential jet, is flying in a presidential jet that is worth 150 billion or to 200 billion or whatever, presidential jet. Yet the president of the country is using some of the best gadgets on earth. Can you ever take such a country serious? That people are languishing in poverty and our president has presidential jets? Shouldn't the president sell all those presidential jets and begin to travel by commercial airlines? If we are a serious country. If we are a serious country at 64, none of our political leaders should be driving any car that is foreign. We have Innocent Motors and others. The other one in Lagos, I don't know the name of the company. I forgot it. We produce our own cars. We started producing, which is fantastic. It was long overdue. We should have been producing our own cars 50 years ago. Now we are producing our own cars. No matter how bad our cars are, our political leaders should be patriotic enough to use made in Nigerian cars. Throw away all those foreign cars. But unfortunately, the average politician in Nigeria is not a nationalist. Is not a patriot. The average Nigerian politician is selfish, greedy, full of pecuniary avarice. He puts his own needs, his own wants, his own ambition, his own greed first before the progress of this nation. At 64, we should be feeding ourselves. We should not be importing any food at all at 64. At 64, our Nigerian universities should be competing with universities in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Korea, in Japan, even in the US, in different parts of Europe. Not that we'll be having HAUSA strike, Suna strike, NASU strike. Already strikes are looming in this country. It has become the normal song every now and then. Strike, strike. We're closing down universities. We're closing down polytechnics. We're closing down our colleges. At 64, we are still looking at payment of salary as an achievement. A country where governors and the president think that when they pay salaries of their workers, that it is an achievement. It tells you how retrogressive, how primitive, how underdeveloped that country is. Because countries that are serious, salary is not an achievement. That you pay salary, nobody even thinks about it. When I was working in Malaysia, from January, I already know the date from January to December when my salary will be paid. They will give you the date every month from January to December when your salary will be paid. And it has never in history exceeded 25th day of the month. In fact, if anything, sometimes they will pay on the 18th of the month. Sometimes they will pay on the 17th of the month. Sometimes they will pay on the 15th of the month. It never exceeds 25th day of the month. From January to December, it is already known. In fact, by December, they will give you an extra salary. And I've never heard any of the politicians come out to say, I've achieved a lot. I pay salaries, of my staff. I pay salaries in this state, in this region. Salaries are paid, and we're not owing the workers and all that. I mean, it is a shame. It is a shame that politicians will ever come out and say we've been paying salaries, so we've achieved something. It is a shame. Sometimes when I hear that, I feel like slapping the mouths of those politicians. They're disgracing us before the world. When you say that, nations of the world laugh at us. They say, look at that primitive country living in Stone Age, where a politician thinks the payment of salary is an achievement, that he has achieved something great. It is unfortunate that at 64, Nigeria is still struggling economically. We don't have factories that are functional. The factories we used to have before, textile factories and all the rest of them, have been closed down. They have become moribund. At 64, our refineries are not functional. Even the Port Harcourt refinery that they deceived us, that will come into full operation in September, is today not 1st October? What has happened to the Port Harcourt refinery? Since last year, they have been deceiving us that the Port Harcourt refinery, is going to start a full operation. Other refineries will follow. They have just been deceiving us for many years. And yet the people who are deceiving Nigerians are still keeping their jobs. At 64 could be. We are still building houses that are collapsing as a nation. Can anybody take us serious as a nation? At the age of 64, Nigeria, we cannot stand and beat our chest and say, look at what we have achieved as a nation. That we've been able to solve the problem of power. Solve one thing. Solve the problem of power. We've been able to solve the problem of bad roads, infrastructure in this country. We've been able to solve the problem of medical care in this country. Just one thing. Can our leaders tell us just one thing, one problem that they have been able to solve over the years, from generation to generation? Right from 1960, when we got independence, each regime has been trying to outdo the other negatively. Every regime Right from the time of Sir Ahmadu Bello, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Prime Minister, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe as a ceremonial president, right from that time to today, every government succeeding administration has been worse than the previous. By the time the Fourth Republic started, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo as president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria started on a good note, fantastically well. All the debts of Nigeria cancelled. Mobile network services came in and all such, and it looks as if there was going to be an industrial revolution in the country and all such. By the time Obasanjo ended his tenure, everybody that took over from him, the graph started going down. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua came, well, he just lasted a short time. Goodluck Jonathan did worse than Obasanjo. After Goodluck Jonathan, Muhammadu Buhari came and did 10 times worse than Goodluck Jonathan. And now it is His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing worse than Buhari. Nigerians are crying now more than they cried under Muhammadu Buhari. Our currency is worse today than it was under Buhari. The economy is worse today than it was under Buhari. Infrastructure is worse today with even the removal of the subsidy. If they remove the subsidy and we see something tangible happening in the country, we would have celebrated them, but there is nothing tangible. So, 64 years.
At 64, I think.
How far? So far have Nigeria gone. You can see the trajectory, you can see lamentation, you can see all manner of things that have happened over these 64 years. But in the midst of all this, there is still a ray of hope.
All right, Prof.
There is a ray of hope. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. And it is you and me, the average Nigerian. We must arise and take our destiny in our hands and say Nigeria must be great. That we will not give up on this nation. That will ensure that this nation marches forward, advances forward, soldiers on, and that this nation becomes great. And how can we do that? Every single one of us in our own spaces that we occupy. We must see ourselves doing what will make Nigeria become a great nation.
I think, Prof, will give you more time after this commercial break because there is still more from you to our dear listener and viewer. It's a commercial break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Unity. Unity TV.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was saying things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to say welcome back to today's edition of Unity Train, Unity 3.3 FM. This is the last segment, and I'm so happy, believing that you are still tuned to this very dial. And now it's time for you to join the conversations. Before you do, we've been discussing a topic that has to do with yourself and myself, Nigeria at 64. How far so far? And my guest has been Professor Paveno H. Baumaye. I'm sure he still, he has a lot to say still. And if you don't mind, I just give him maybe 1 to 3 minutes to hear what he has to conclude on his thoughts concerning how far so far Nigeria at 64. Prof.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You know, viewers and listeners, if we are serious as a nation, there are things that we must do. We must do as individuals, and our government must do. The primary responsibility of government is the welfare and security of the people.
Yes.
Our leaders must fulfill that pledge, that oath they swore to when they came into office, to protect the Constitution, to provide security, welfare for Nigerians. And we, the citizens of Nigeria, we must hold our leaders accountable, because we contribute a great deal to this failure of leadership.
Okay.
When a governor comes for an occasion or a senator, you just celebrate them and praise them. You don't tell them the truth. You invited them as special guest of honor or distinguished guest or whatever position, chairman, you give them at an occasion, and when they come, instead of you to tell them the truth, you just celebrate them and say they're doing well, they're doing well. Instead of you to tell the governor that, look at the problem, this is where you're failing. Tell the senator, this is where you're failing. Tell Mr. President, this is where you're failing. Tell them to their faces. But we will just say, oh, you're doing well. Even when they're not doing anything. You just make them feel comfortable. You know, leaders who are wise know that their best friends are their critics. As a leader, your best friends are your critics, because they will make you do better as a leader. Those sycophants that keep singing your praises, those are yes men around you that are doing yes, 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 yes. All those people that are just saying yes, yes around you, yes, 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 those sycophants, they will end up destroying you as a leader. If you surround yourself with sycophants, you are destined to fail as a leader. So, what can we do as Nigerians? We must take our destiny in our hands.
All right.
Whatever little work you're doing, do it with all your heart. Be sincere. Be a man, a woman of integrity. Find something doing. Don't wait for the government again. Because the government, it is very apparent that they lack the capacity, to empower every Nigerian and to help Nigerians. We have to help ourselves. We have arable land. Every one of us return back to the farm. Begin to farm. Crop farming. Get animals and keep. Invest as a Nigerian. Invest. Let's begin to have small companies, small industry, a small bakery rising up here, a small place where they are producing peanut here, a small place where they are making some juice, a restaurant here, left, right, and center. Let's, all of us, we must not sit down and keep waiting for the government, because you will wait till thy kingdom come and no help will come. We must become industrious as Nigerians. We must become people who create their own employment and become employers of labor ourselves. That is the way to grow our economy. And of course, our leaders, they have a great role to play in making Nigeria great. And our leaders should start by truly becoming patriots. All those senators, House of Reps, governors, of course the president and the ministers, all the rest of them, begin to use made in Nigerian cars. Begin to wear made in Nigerian clothes, made in Nigerian shoes, eat made in Nigerian food. Throw away all those cars or return them back. Those cars, foreign cars you imported, we don't need them. The president should dispose all those presidential jets and begin to travel by commercial plane like some of his peers are doing. Like nations that are better than Nigeria, more developed than Nigeria, their presidents don't even have any presidential jet. He should go and learn from those nations where their presidents are serious about development. And our presidents should stop traveling around the world, wasting our money. Sit down, face the problems of Nigeria, address the problems of Nigerians. Today is 1st October. Our president should have gone to spend time with Nigerians in IDP camps. Our president should have gone to spend time with Nigerians in hospitals, Nigerians in prisons, Nigerians in different schools, different places around the country. But he's sitting down there in Abuja and giving us a speech that has no charisma, that has nothing tangible that you can take home. Right. Our president, vice president, the ministers, the governors, everybody should become serious as leaders. If we want this country to move forward, then leadership should be by example. If you are telling Nigerians to make sacrifice, like they have been telling us for 40 years, 50 years, they have been telling us the same story. There is nothing new in what His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu said this morning. Buhari, I remember his speech when he took over as a military head of state at the end of December 1983. It is the same story. 1984, he was telling us make sacrifices. Nigeria will become better. 1985, make sacrifices. When IBB came to power, the same thing. Nigeria will become better. Make sacrifices. Bear with us, we'll fix the economy. They did not do anything. When Shonekon came, it was the same thing. Abacha took over, it was the same thing. Obasanjo took over, it was the same thing. The same thing to Yaradua, to Goodluck Jonathan, to the second coming of Buhari as a civilian president. Up to now, with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you're still telling Nigerians to make sacrifice. What other sacrifice do you want Nigerians to make? Nigerians have sacrificed their lives, they're dying. You're still asking them to make sacrifice. Please, the president should stop telling Nigerians to make sacrifice. Tell us what sacrifice you are making. Nigerians have sacrificed their lives, they have sacrificed their happiness, they have sacrificed their future from generation to generation. And you're still asking for more sacrifice. I mean, you are not being just to Nigerians. Let's see our leaders make sacrifice. Let's see our governors slash their salaries by 70%. And the senators should follow. The ministers should follow. The president should follow. Slash your salaries by 70%. Stop all those humongous allowances that you're collecting. Become like the ordinary Nigerians. Stop building great mighty mansions as government houses. Live simple lives. Simple lives like the rest of Nigerians. And you will see Nigerians will love you for it. The Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, when he finished as prime minister, returned back to his old rickety house where he was before becoming prime minister. The house has not changed. He has not added an extra room. He has not made it bigger. Even as prime minister of the country, he wasn't using a presidential jet. He was using a commercial plane to move around, attend meetings. That is a wise president that was determined to develop his own country. We need to see sacrifice. Sacrifice from our leaders. Sacrifice. They should give us leadership. Leadership by example. That is the only way Nigeria can become great. It is not by lip service. It is not by talking. It is not by saying, I know what you are passing through. It is not by saying, you know, give us some time, things will become better. We've given you 40 years. Nothing has become better. 50 years. Nothing has become better. Is it now that things will become better? If you want things to become better, you make the sacrifice. The current administration has already been in power for 16 months. Nothing has become better. And you're telling us that things will get better. We should make some more sacrifices. Who are you deceiving? As leaders, set the example. Set the example that you want Nigerians to follow. And then Nigeria will be on its path to greatness.
All right, thank you so much, Prof. Nigeria at 64. How far so far? Before I start picking your calls, I have in a glance for you today. At 64 years of independence, has Nigeria truly progressed, both democratically and otherwise? The reality is disheartening. Killings, hunger, internet fraud, banditry, corruptions, kidnappings, and poverty has defined our daily lives. Many Nigerians are living in this country in search of better opportunities. Triple taxations, rising electricity bills, and constant hikes in fuel prices weigh heavily on citizens and economic too. Despite being the nation's rich in oil resources, mineral, palm oil, groundnut, rice, maize, and many more, although our governments on top and some politicians misuse them instead of boosting exports and keeping our foreign reserves better, we remained overly reliant on imports. Where are we heading as a country? It's a big question to you, dear listener and viewer. The government has failed to deliver on its promises to the people. Our younger generation sees no future here, leading to a massive migrations to other countries like America, Great Britain, Korea, and other European countries, where hope for a brighter future seems more achievable. Okay, and he continues by saying, what must we do to set things right? Happy Independence Day, Nigeria. And this is from Honorable Felix Akonko-Jepi from the Igbo community. 07032353315 is the studio line. You can just call your name and location in 1 minute. Let's have also your submissions. And on Facebook at Unity Radio FM/TV just drop your comments there too, and we get to read them. The same you have also for our WhatsApp channel. So please, I'll be very happy if you get to find us, connect with us in any of this WhatsApp or Facebook, and then we get to hear from you. And for text messages, 0808-478-9999. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Saturday.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Pastor Henry J.J. Dere. I'm known as Young T of Doncaster.
Young T of Doncaster. Let's have you in 1 minute. Thank you, sir.
All right. I want to appreciate you in particular and Prof himself. You know, you took your time to analyze these issues so very well. I must say kudos to you people in the studio.
Thank you.
You know, Prof has said it all.
All right.
Because there is an adage. A fool at 40 is a fool forever. And we are celebrating Nigeria at
64.
64. So for how long do we continue to be fools in this country? Just took his time to analyze these issues. I just wish our leaders are hearing him. This inception of this country, there has never been a time that Nigerians are happy. It didn't seem for us to be Nigerians.
All right.
Hello?
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much, Pastor Young T. Henry. They were right. Young T of Doncaster. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Your name?
Prof, my brother, good morning.
Thank you.
This is Honorable Jutsat.
Okay, Honorable Jutsat, let's have you.
Could be.
Yes.
You know, we are looking for solutions. What is happening in this country? I call this way.
Okay.
Because you know today is our Nigeria Great Day.
Yes, it is.
So what I want to have this morning is Rwanda have a very big problem, but after that reconciliation, Rwanda agreed today.
Okay.
But let me just these Nigerians want to make this country great again. Nigeria needs to go back and reconcile with those that they negotiated after the Biafran War. I'm saying this as a nationalist. What will make this country great? That's what we are suffering today. The economy of this country, if you check very well, is on that side of this country they come from.
Okay.
Reconcile with them, whatever is their grievances, you can reconcile it so that Nigeria will be one. Let me tell you, Professor, if you have a 3 kids, at the end of the day, you lost 2 and leave 1 by the side. You can never have peace in your family. But even if the other one is stubborn, call him and ask him what's the problem, reconcile them. If you die and leave those 2, that one will give us a serious problem.
Okay.
I'm giving it as a prophecy. If Nigeria can unite together and call up those that have problem with the other side after the war, I'm telling you, this country will be great again. Good morning.
Are you saying that Nigeria is not united? Is that your take, Honorable Jutsat? Okay, we lost him. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kobe.
Thank you for calling.
Hello, good morning, Kobe.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, this is Benedict from Ghana.
It's good to have you, please. Go on in 1 minute.
Thank you very much. I want to say happy Independence Day to you in the studio today, and especially to the folk in the studio who has actually been very wonderful on the mic, especially when it has to do with Nigerian problems, and then the paper to so many critical national issues.
Thank you.
People like us, honestly, I think they should be at the arms of ourselves in this country. We understand the dynamics of the problems of our Nigerians, co-resistance, and then solutions to most of our problems. I salute you again once more, sir.
Yes.
You see, Nigeria, my favorite great country of mine, my father's land, is one of the difficult nations on earth now, and the nation that produces the indigent poor people that are actually suffering from national poverty, and then the war capital poverty, on earth.
All right.
Nigeria also is a country that is easily governed. Nigeria is the most easiest country to be governed. Hence, the followers, you know the leaders to accountable.
All right.
If any man succeeds in the ballot, please read this particular statement of mine. It is all a win for him. He stays in the place of immigration and told you that the same subsidy that over 230 million people are dependent on has been taken away. And nobody question that particular authority. The next time he comes again on the radio and tells you that you should give it your best, that the good days are coming. And when you make that statement that the good days are coming, at that particular point, the dollar is rising. The poor man that is collecting 70,000 naira as a salary after being quickly deducted by the National Assembly, 70,000 naira reduces from that particular form of naira to up to 30,000 naira or up to 25,000 naira or 30,000 naira at most. It is also a country where the state actors, the leaders come to just make one statement and that statement is scanned. And it is also a country where it is easily governed that the president is telling you to give you your best. The president who cannot pay you 70,000 naira as a minimum wage in the same country, you can have the audacity and the boldness to go and buy a traveling gadget and just spend for over 150 billion naira. Taxpayers' money. You could imagine this kind of a country.
All right.
People that can people country, you're spending up to 150 billion.
Thank you, Mr. Benedict.
This nation, if you have actually contributed this nation, I think at 64, I want to say this, Nigeria should rise up, Nigeria should come and start demanding for accountability from our leaders. We are not free.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Benedict. And on Facebook, Nuhu Ibrahim say, good morning, Unity FM. How are you doing today? Happy New Month and Independence Day. God bless Unity FM. God bless Nigerians. God bless Plateau State. God bless Just North. Thank you. Abdurrahman Adamu say, happy 64th Independence. Thank you. And Fideli say, good morning, Kubi. And Professor Ba Mayi say, Allah exactly Nigeria at 64. Actually, Nigeria needs to change the strategy to make things easier and better to the poor man, because things are not easy. At 64, Nigeria peoples are not happy. At 64, we still on insecurity like kidnapping, fuel subsidy, and high of food commodity. God bless your country. Okay, our country actually. Nigeria peoples by the name Abdul Baba is in Dutse Uku Tanks. And from Mutalaya Hayamaigia, a very big good morning, excellent radio presenter Kobi Watozuma Mesaukin Kai, Sir Professor PH Bamayi in the studio. Thanks for the good work. Please keep it up. Today we are celebrating the 64th anniversary of our country, Nigeria, and we pray that God will grant us peace and bring us together to create a country that everyone can be proud of. But there are certainly many things that we can be proud of, but the country is in the hands of those who are not fit to rule it. May God protect our country and make life easier for us. God bless Nigeria and Plateau State. Suda Makan from Mutalaya Haya Maiya. Thank you, Mutalaya Haya Maiya. Suda Makan is a question, right? Suda, thank you, Mutala. Okay, text messages here permit me to read some because I might not be able to read all. And this one says, good morning, Unity crew. A fantastic and respected speech from Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We hope to see it in reality. Therefore, all the 36 governors, security agencies are not enough to make this blessed country a better place of living. So every other person shall ensure to contribute and be peace ambassador in your working place, marketplace, or any other places, even in our various worship centers. Indeed, I have no justifications for not to celebrate my nation's Nigeria because of some few unpatriotic. Happy Nigeria independence to everybody. Thank you at Ismail Isa Jos Enshanu. Thank you, Ismail Isa. And this one say happy Independence Day as it is promises and analysis as usual. I once asked on my way from a journey, where is government farm location? Okay, from Kaduna to Jos. None. How do you feed the nation? Prof, the problems are not addressed. Lawal Giwa from Sabon Peggy Jos. Thank you, Lawal. Another text message here. Good morning, Kobe, Prof B. I wish all Nigerians happy independence anniversary, Sir Prof. We are enjoying the lectures from Aliu Maza. Thank you, Aliu Maza. And another one, good morning, Kobe. Our amiable, consistent, and passionate analyst, Professor Bamayi, and the guest of your phone. Happy Independence Day to you and all Nigerians. Honestly, at 64, Nigeria has not progressed as expected, even with the fertile land and mineral resources God has blessed us with. Our leaders have not been committed to bringing policies and programs that will transform the country and to better the lives of the citizens. In the president's speech, he said he knows what Nigerians are passing through. I don't think so. If he knows, he would have brought back fuel subsidy and make better policies that will alleviate the suffering of Nigerians. Peace is priceless. Let's live in peace. God bless Unity FM, Plateau State, and Nigeria. I have lots more to read, but I doubt much if I'll be able to read all of them. Please permit me that by tomorrow I'll get to read your comments. And this is all we have for today's edition of Unity Train on your radio. Prof, sir, I'm sorry, there might not be any more time.
That's all right.
All right.
Happy independence, fellow Nigerians.
Thank you so much, Prof, for understanding. And dear listener and viewer, we'll come back here tomorrow, God's willing, and we continue. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs, even as a Fizere community broadcast comes your way on our radio arm. Thank you from Mikobi. Bye-bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.